Sigh.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into something incredibly common, maybe even a bit sneaky. Herpes simplex virus type 1, HSV1.
Yeah, if you've ever had a cold sore, you know this one. Our goal here is to really understand its life cycle, how it actually spreads, and what the sources say about managing it versus just dealing with symptoms. So, okay, the basics. HSV1, it's a virus, hits those epithelial cells, right? Like the lining of your mouth, nose, throat. That's the first hit.
That's the initial infection, yeah. But that's not the whole story, not by a long shot. The really crucial part, the thing that makes it stick around for life, is latency.
Latency, okay.
So after that first infection in the surface cells, the virus, it actually travels. It moves up nerve fibers into the central nervous system.
Into the nerves, wow.
Yeah, specifically, it sets up shop, like permanently in the trigeminal ganglia. You can think of that as sort of the main nerve hub for your face. Okay, so it's hiding out in the nerve center,
Yeah.
like a permanent guest.
Yeah.
Exactly, it just waits there, dormant,
Yeah.
till something wakes it up. But here's the interesting bit. That first infection, it triggers a pretty strong antibody response from your immune system. So your body learns to recognize it.
Precisely. And that immune memory is why the later flare-ups, the cold sores, are usually more localized and generally less severe than that very first infection.
Right. And speaking of that first time, the sources mentioned it often shows up as like fever, sore throat, these painful little blisters or ulcers, usually in really young kids, maybe 1 to 5 years old.
That's the classic primary infection picture, yeah. And transmission is, well, pretty straightforward, especially with kids.
How does it spread so easily then?
Mostly through respiratory droplets,
Mhm.
coughs, sneezes, or just direct contact with saliva that's carrying the virus. But the material we looked at pointed out something else too.
Oh yeah, this was interesting. The transmission isn't just mouth to mouth, is it? There are these like occupational risks.
Absolutely. This was quite striking. People in jobs or activities with a lot of close skin contact, maybe even abrasions. Think high contact sports, wrestling, even dentistry or medicine.
Right.
They actually have a higher risk of getting HSV1 lesions on other parts of their body, not just the mouth. Skin contact is enough if the virus finds a way in.
So like in wrestling, they call it herpes gladiatorum. Spreads through skin abrasions or mats.
That's the one. It just shows how opportunistic the virus can be. If there's an opening, it can take it.
Makes sense. So, okay, let's shift to what most people actually experience after that first time, the recurrence. The common cold sore or fever blister. Walk us through that sequence.
Yeah, it's usually pretty predictable. It often starts with a specific feeling, like a burning or tingling where the sore is about to appear.
A warning sign.
Exactly. Then you get redness, then small bumps or pustules form. These eventually break, become ulcers, and then they crust over. The whole thing, unfortunately, takes about 10 to 14 days to heal fully. And yeah, it's often painful.
Okay, 10 to 14 days. So if you're in the middle of that, what can you actually do? What does management look like knowing the virus is still hiding out? Well, this is the tough part. The sources are really clear. Treatment is purely palliative. Palliative meaning just symptom relief. No cure.
Correct. There's no cure. We're just managing the outbreak while it's happening. So the tools mentioned are things like topical antiviral creams, penciclovir, or dicosanol cream applied directly to the sore.
Okay, creams for the sore itself. What about the pain?
For the pain, it's usually basic stuff like aspirin or acetaminophen, just to make it more bearable while it runs its course.
So those creams, they're just for the active lesion. That feels like a really important distinction compared to like preventing it from happening again.
That is the key distinction, yeah. Managing the current sore is one thing. Preventing the next one, that requires a different strategy.
And that's where the oral medications come in, like a cyclover.
Exactly. Acyclovir, valacyclovir, famciclovir. These are taken by mouth, and they work differently. They're designed to interfere with the virus's ability to replicate, to make copies of itself.
So they stop it from multiplying before it causes a full-blown sore.
That's the goal, yes. They're used more for preventing recurrence, especially in people who get outbreaks frequently,
Yeah.
rather than just treating the sore that's already there.
Got it. That really clarifies the difference between just getting through an outbreak and trying to stop them altogether.
Huh.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, the big takeaways seem to be
Mm-hmm.
this virus uses latency, hiding in your nerves.
Mm-hmm. In the trigeminal ganglia specifically.
Right, and that first infection builds antibodies, making later ones less severe. And we can't forget those specific occupational risks, like in contact sports or medicine.
Yeah. And that brings us to maybe a final thought for you, the listener. Since there is no cure for HSV1, it's about lifelong management. So how do you weigh the effort? Is it about dealing with the acute pain and hassle of each cold sore as it comes? Or is it about the proactive, ongoing effort of using preventative strategies, like those oral antivirals, to try and stop them from recurring in the first place?
Hmm. Reacting versus preventing.
That's really the core choice you face when living with HSV1. Something to think about.